Good morning, class. This is your instructor for physics. My name is Jumoy Bouzidi. It's 7:30 in the morning, actually 7:24 in the morning on Monday, August the 24th. This purpose of this recording is to give you an overview of how this course is laid out. If you already did take a class online, and some of you probably did, so you have an idea of how things work, and this is just a refresher. If you did not, this is basically in a nutshell what you will need to do when you come online and basically take these classes. I have 4 classes in here that I have laid them out. This is Physics 10 actually, and I'm in the student view. This is the Physical Science 1, and this is Physics 4B, and this is Physics 11. Now what you need to know is I'm actually looking at this content in terms of a student view, and since the student has limited basically credentials, doesn't have an email, for example, I cannot go to Confer Zoom, and I cannot do a lot of things with this. But when you come to this course, the first thing that I need you to really understand is the course syllabus. This is the content that we're going to go through. This is my contact information, the policies, requirements, the grading policy, and also the schedule on when tests are, when exams are, and so on and so forth. So you really need to follow that, and for your specific class, and go and try to understand what these things are. If you have any questions, the best way to reach me is through the chat in here, in the inbox. I try to respond to your inquiries and questions as soon as possible, usually within minutes from your request, up to 24 hours, Monday through Thursday. During weekend, you may experience a delay in my responses because, again, I may be driving or something. But if you want to reach me, this is really the best way of doing it. That way, we can communicate back and forth, and try to make sure everything works for you in this class. Again, this is the landing page. So when you come into the basically the syllabus, the course syllabus. One of the things that and we will talk about this on for your specific class when times comes in for it. One of the things you really need to be paying attention to is the Confer Zoom. I require attendance for my classes. If you cannot make it live, you can still see the recording afterwards, and you have to follow step by step. Everything I do in this class is graded. The only thing that is not graded is a survey at the end of the class that is for my and the college's benefit. Other than that, anything I ask you to do in this class, including attending classes, will be graded. That's why it's very important that you're going to follow that. If you cannot make it live, you still have to go and watch the recording that I'm going to post on the discussion forum there. There will be assignments associated with these live sessions, and that's why it's important that you have to attend them, because as I said, they will be graded. They will be for credit. Now, in addition to that, this is really where you're going to spend most of your time, in the modules. Let me see if this user, okay, this user has still some credentials. At this point, week 1 for this specific class, Physical Science 1, is still not unlocked. I think it's going to unlock in a few minutes, in about half an hour or so. It's still, like I said, before 8 a.m. And basically at that point, it says in here, actually, will unlock August 24th at 8 a.m. Other classes probably have been already unlocked. There is more content actually behind the scene, but as a student, you're not going to be able to see it. And let me see if this one has, okay, still this one, I'm still working on it, I guess. Okay, anyway, the point being in here is once the content unlocks, you're going to do all of the steps. There are quizzes, there are assignments. For this case in here, they have already an assignment that is due, and that is actually a discussion in there. There are the community rules, the lecture notes, and everything else. So you're going to spend most of your time doing models, actually going step by step through the course. That's one thing. The other thing also is you're going to be paying attention to the Confer Zoom, and when the session meets, you're going to go there and basically access those sessions. Let me see if this user doesn't have an email. So if we go there, it's going to tell you there is a big, because I'm using the student, the test student doesn't have an email, so Confer Zoom will not give him access there. So for you guys, you go there, you will see the session when it's going to meet, you click on it, and we will meet there to discuss more on this class. The purpose of this video, as I said, was just to give you a brief introduction. You're going to be seeing the syllabus. You're going to switch between your modules and your Confer Zoom to basically do all of your assignments and meet all of the requirements for this course. We will meet for this specific class, Physics Science, tomorrow. So by 8 a.m. everything should be worked out. If you have any problems, please let me know. For Physics 10, again, we're going to be meeting tomorrow at 4:10 p.m. So that's the first time we're going to meet. For Physics 4B, actually, we're meeting today at 12:45. That's the one that gave me access tonight earlier. And then for Physics... For the lab for Physics 11, we're going to be meeting at Thursday at 6 p.m. online again. So by that time, you should be familiar with all of these things. Come to Confer Zoom, you find the link and you follow it. By that time, hopefully you're meeting live with us. If you cannot make it live with us, I'm going to post the recording later on that evening, and you will have all of the assignments, hopefully by Friday, posted for you for that live session that we did on that we would have done by then on Thursday, and then you will go and finish your assignment before the week after this one, because this is basically the lab sequence for this one. Again, this is specific for this class. For other people, it's a different assignments, different things, different sequence, different things going on. So I hope to see you live. And don't forget, there are assignments, at least all of you guys, all of the classes have the same assignment with different topics. We're going to introduce yourself to the class. We're going to follow the community rules in responding to your peers. And you're going to include also a picture of yourself so that we know who you are. And then discuss the points raised in that discussion session. There is a deadline for that. There is also a deadline for when you're going to submit your replies to your peers. And you have to follow the community rules when it comes to that one. The community rules is actually part of your, again, models. Everything is contained in this models link, okay? For this specific class, it's in here. For the other classes, it's actually going to be the #1 topic also there too. I will see you, and please send questions or inquiries. I don't want anything to be left basically as if it's assumed to be understood. Everything has to be clear and clarified, and there is no ambiguity with it. All the rubrics for all of the assignments are there. Everything I tell you to do is, like I said, is graded. So you really have to do it with the rubrics published. The only thing that is not going to be graded is at the end of the course, and that is your survey, which is going to benefit me in the college. Thank you.